friends, welcome to the Finance Scribble. I make videos all about the financial aspects of life that I've learned along the way and would love to share them with you. Make sure you subscribe and come back weekly for new videos. Today, I'm talking all about different types of budgeting methods. There are a lot out there, but I'm only going to focus on 4 of them. I think they are the most common ones as well. Before I talk about the budgeting types, tell me how you like to budget in the comments below. I'm really curious. Or if you don't, maybe you'll learn about one that will work for you in this video. Let's get started. We'll start with 50-30-20 budgeting method. It's essentially where you split your net income. So after taxes and other deductions, you put 50% toward your needs, 30% on wants, and 20% into savings. By needs, I mean things like your mortgage, rent, maybe bills, groceries, transportation, or childcare. Wants are things like shopping, entertainment, dining out, travel, or maybe massages. Let me show you what this would mean for us. Our net income each month is around $17,000. Under this budgeting method, it would mean we set aside $8,500 on our needs, then $5,100 on wants, and the remaining $3,400 into our savings. For us, actually, this method doesn't really work since we want to save way more than the $3,400, and also our monthly expenses are not that high. We're definitely fortunate in that we can save a lot more. So if you are not in the same boat, this general guideline would be super helpful to know just so you understand how much you can afford in terms of a mortgage or perhaps rent. If your net income per month is $8,000, for example, that means your necessities shouldn't exceed $4,000. So a mortgage of maybe $3,000 wouldn't be realistic, or perhaps not a really good idea, since that eats up a huge chunk of your needs allotment. Although I do get that some people are in a high cost of living area like us in Seattle, Washington, and don't have a high paying job, so their needs may end up exceeding 50% of their income. We're fortunate in that we can maintain lower than 50% on needs, so I don't want to not acknowledge that this isn't the reality for some people, and moving out of this area is also out of the question for some people. In those scenarios, it is helpful to have this as a starting guideline, though, and can adjust to what works best for you in your financial situation. Do the best you can and don't feel discouraged. Next, we have zero-based budget. I think sometimes people also call it every dollar budget. This method is essentially giving every dollar of your income a task. You would take your net income and assign it into a category so that you are left with zero at the end, hence the name zero-based budget. I would say we use 90% of this method. We basically have our entire net income dedicated to something, whether it's an expense or a savings bucket or investments. I've gone over this before in previous videos, but we break our budget into 9 different categories, and the rest goes into savings and investments. We leave a little wiggle room of about $500 that is labeled for travel, but we don't spend $500 on travel each month. It's more just set aside as wiggle room or for months where we do end up traveling. We also further split the savings and investments into $7,000 for our brokerage account, and then the remaining $2,000 is split between our sinking funds that we have at the moment. Sometimes our expenses end up being higher, so it means our savings bucket would decrease a little, and some months it's a little more than $2,000. So I think it overall balances out. In the end, every dollar of our $17,000 net income has a job. Then we have the value-based budget. This one puts bigger emphasis on certain areas that you value more, meaning you put more budget or money into those areas and lower into areas that are not as important. For example, we value eating out and traveling. So for us, our eating out budget is set at $1,000, which for some people, that would be astronomical. But for some others, they may value cars more and would splurge on a really nice car or get it detailed and cleaned once a week. or maybe more often. We just aren't car people and are happy with our little Toyota Corolla. And so for our transportation bucket, it's lower than our eating out and travel, for example. And for others, makeup or fancy brand name items are very valuable to them. But for me, I just use a minimal approach to makeup and don't really care about the brand as long as it looks nice and works. I think people tend to make judgment easily because some of the items that other people put as valuable are totally opposite of our own. And so we tend to judge others for spending a lot of money on certain areas. So, I mean, it's okay to value different things and just know that what might be valuable for you might not be for some other people and vice versa, and that is 100% okay. Lastly, we have the cash envelopes method. This is where we set aside specific amounts for each of your categories, but have them in cash so you aren't tempted to go over budget. Spending on credit or debit cards makes it very easy to go over budget, but with cash, once it's gone, it's gone. You can actually see how much is left in each category so that you can make adjustments throughout the month. I've heard this helps people who do a lot of impulse purchases. For us, this method doesn't really work since we don't love carrying around too much cash, and the credit card points are so good that it's hard to pass up. We pay off our credit card balances each month though, so spending on credit isn't a risk for us, but for people who have a hard time paying off their entire balance at the end of the month, cash envelopes might be the way to go. It's not worth going into debt for some credit card points. That would be counterproductive. So to sum up, we use a combination of zero-based and value-based budgeting. We put every dollar to work and place more money on areas and items that we value more. I made a video detailing our monthly budget a little while back, so make sure you check out that video in the link below to see what our various categories are and how much we allocate into each of the buckets. Don't forget to tell me how you budget in the comments below. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe and come back weekly for more videos. Happy scribbling. Bye.